This is what I was getting to, the wild stuff that we're talking about. Do you know who the 25-year-old boxer Ryan Garcia is?
I do not.
Ryan Garcia is a good boxer. Mm-hmm. He's only lost one fight. He lost to Gervonta Davis, which he changed his name to Abdul something now. But I watched one of those 24/7s leading up to, the fight and stuff, and I liked Ryan King Garcia, and he seemed like a good kid, and I was like, oh, okay, hopefully this guy does well and stuff. Ryan Garcia has been making some of the wildest accusations ever since the mysterious video of his alleged death was published on social media. Initially, Garcia wrote on Twitter that he had been hacked and that nobody could do anything to stop it. He wrote that he had a picture of a real alien and alerted the entire UFO community. Everybody wanted him to post it, but the messages just got weirder from there. He went on X Space, which is like a little like interview kind thing they can do with Andrew Tate, crazy Andrew Tate. Yeah. That's when Garcia said that the so-called elites in Bohemian Grove is a real thing. Do you know what Bohemian Grove is?
No.
That is where the elites go out into the woods and they sacrifice kids. And they
rape kids. He said he watched some videos. Okay, I did read this.
So Alex Jones has been talking about this for years, about this whole thing. Whatever. Garcia claims the elites tied him up in the woods and forced him to watch little kids being raped.
Right.
Garcia is still scheduled to face WBC super lightweight champion Devin Haney on April 20th. So he has a fight coming up. This all started to break whenever his ex-wife came out and said, pray for Ryan, there's problems, and somebody took over his social media and this and that. Then he put out a video of him sitting in a chair in like an office where it looked like a hostage thing, and he's like, I don't have control of my social media. I've been hacked and this, and it's like really weird. But now all this stuff is coming out, and he the audio is so many F-bombs, it's ridiculous. Right. But he's talking about this and how they tied him up and made him watch this.
I did read the transcript.
And all this stuff out in the woods and everything that's happening, and that he has pictures of real aliens and all kind of stuff. So Spanish and I were talking about this, and I go, it can be one of two things. Totally true or CTE.
Yeah, but I mean...
He's not the only one that's talked about it.
And that's a lot of detailed information for somebody who's
hearing about this over and over again.
Baby talked about it, and there's a couple other rappers that have all talked about this.
It all goes back to John Legend's wife.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. She was a big catalyst for people looking into celebrities.
It seems so. I know it seems so silly with her.
So I know, some of the stuff that they say about Bohemian Grove, they say that the people that gathered there have been business leaders, former U.S. presidents, musicians, oil barons, all these different people out there in the woods having satanic rituals and all kind of stuff. It seems wild stuff.
Didn't Alex Jones actually go out there?
Yes, and he
undercover.
He took like cell phone video and all kind of stuff,
and like everything that everyone said that was out there was there. There's like a big owl statue that they
pray to.
So and he got to the statue basically, and it's like a big giant owl made out of rock.
Take out the whole satanic part, right? From what we've learned about quantum mechanics, if you can conjure up enough energy, whether it be positive or negative, you can influence things in the physical world. They've proven that with experiments time and time again.
Okay.
So it's not hard to believe that if a group of people wanted to get something done energy-wise, you would go to a spot that was on a ley line, and then you would do whatever we call it rituals because we don't have any other name for it.
I know what you're saying.
But and they've said that they do this all the time to get money, to get business deals done, to get people elected to office.
I read an article where they said that somebody yelled Bohemian Club to President Clinton, and he said, Bohemian Club? Did you say Bohemian Club? That's where all the rich Republicans go and stand up naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you.
Yes,
get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about Clinton. I only did like
definitely
Clinton.
Been there.
Hey,
he said all the Republicans. He was a Democrat.
I was a Boy Scout, and before that, I was a Cub Scout, and I went to a camp. Every camp that I had in the middle of the woods, there was an owl statue in there. Yeah, that's just
Right,
that's just a symbol of the woods.
Yeah, but then we find out later on that a lot of the kids in the thing that you were in, the Boy Scouts and stuff, were being raped by their camp leaders.
Why was I never raped by the camp leader?
I think we
You
know.
know what?
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know.
I was
You didn't walk
a
enough.
skinny kid.
But here's the thing: is Alex Jones? Everyone's like, "Oh man, that guy's crazy." All this stuff that he says, but a lot of the stuff that he says has come true. Like,
But I
of-
think a lot of the things that he says that comes true also have double meanings. Like, why is there an owl in the woods? I don't know, because the Cub Scouts carved it 50 years
okay,
ago.
but why is there a pedophile island? Like he was
Yeah.
one of the front runners on that about Jeffrey Epstein and the pedophile island and all that type of stuff, which we now know is totally true.
I
Back
didn't
then,
know
everyone
that,
was
yeah.
like, "You got to be kidding me!"
And-
that can't be a real thing.
According to the ancients, the owl represents death and doom, and which is why they put it in woods in those areas.
Yeah, you know what it means in our
people to stay
lifetimes?
out.
It means a bird that eats lollipops.
To you it does, but to these people who believe in the old ways, it doesn't. You know
and
what
they
I mean?
say they like the elites tell us what they're going to do, and then that way they can't get punished. So in our movies and in our
Right.
television shows and our music, they're telling us that they're sacrificing and raping and doing all these terrible things. Well,
Pinocchio.
They do. They tell us that they're doing these things, and that makes it okay because it's
It doesn't make it
subliminal.
okay. It softens
No, but
the
in
blow.
their
Yeah.
but in their line of
Beliefs.
rituals and prayers and stuff like that, it makes it okay for them to do it because they told us first.
Here's my thing. I don't know whether it's true or not. You're just hearing it more and more and
Yeah.
more. And
Right.
it seems like a lot of times when you hear this more and more and more, finally something breaks and you go, "Holy crap, that wound up being true."
Yeah.
Right. So you
Listen.
have to almost take everything with a grain of salt because you find out a pedophile island is true, and then you're like, okay, well, there's an owl in the woods, so that all the things that they're saying, all the rituals that they're doing, could also totally be true.
Yeah, like adrenochrome, people used to think it was crazy to talk about people eating babies. You come to find out they weren't really eating babies. They were collecting this chemical and using it for anti-aging.
And then why doesn't Hillary Clinton look better?
I think because she had to stop taking it being in the public
After
eye.
Oh, they got onto her.
Yeah.
Well, no,
yeah.
they say you can only take it for a certain amount of time because then there are reverse effects by doing it too much.
And Donald
it-
Trump can't get any?
And
I
if
don't
you
know.
No, Donald Trump is the one who's 80 years old. He looks
Yeah.
better than Gio. I mean,
Yeah, I imagine
It's working.
all the elites across the board. You know, I know you guys make fun of me for the World Economic Forum thing, but like that is the
Who thought
group.
Gavin Newsom was on the
Yeah.
roster for the Democratic Party yesterday?
Well, the whole thing about that is it includes Trump and all these elites, whether you're Republican or Democrat. That is all of the world leaders, including the elite business leaders like Bezos, Elon Musk, all doing whatever. We don't know what they're doing, you
Yeah.
know, so
I
don't
think
know.
we don't know what they're doing, so we're trying to conjure up reasons to
No,
think that they're
I don't
cooler
think so.
than us.
I don't think so.
So you have Ryan Garcia saying this stuff about Bohemian Grove and stuff. What did you want to say?
I was saying, I just want to know when the McRib is back.
Oh, dude, not
That's
yet.
what's important to
So
me.
where does Ryan Garcia fit into all this? Why was he in Bohemian Grove?
He says he was raped as a child
Yeah.
by the elites, whatever. And now he's being forced to watch and do all this stuff. I don't know whether they're trying to put him in there or whatever. I don't know what the deal is. But like I said, he could be telling the truth. He could be absolutely crazy. We're not sure. But you keep hearing this stuff more and more and more.
There's some sort of something is true about
Right,
it.
yeah. There's a kernel of truth in there somewhere. And then you have this. In the upcoming docuseries, Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, Drake Bell from
Yeah.
Drake and Josh reveals that he was sexually abused by Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brian Peck.
Brian Peck and so many of the other Nickelodeon executives it was a pipeline
Yeah.
for
Because there was
molesting kids.
wasn't that other dude that was on Head of the Class?
Yeah,
wasn't
the
he with
fact guy.
Nickelodeon?
He was like he was the head of Nickelodeon, and he was the guy that everybody says was molesting all these kids.
Well, Peck was convicted of abuse against an unidentified minor back in 2004.
They definitely don't do rituals or anything crazy like that.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a ritual. That just could be pedophiles. What do they say? Pedophiles go work for Disney.
Yeah,
you know
but
what
I
I mean?
think-
They go take jobs with their own kids.
I think the whole word ritual is where you start to lose people because it has some type of religious connotation.
Yeah.
If you're like, even if it's like the eyes wide shut parties,
Right.
where you're going and people are just gathering, everybody wears a mask, and then some kids get raped. That's
That doesn't
considered.
necessarily mean kids are getting raped. That could just mean
I
sex
mean-
parties.
But we're
You
at
got-
these elite parties.
Yeah,
That's-
where all these Nickelodeon people go to, the Hollywood people
And
go
this
to.
is what this whole P. Diddy stuff is all
Yeah.
coming out. It has a lot to do with
and
it
on
as
top
well.
of it, they get to keep their job.
Yeah.
So it's not until someone comes and completely outs them. But he stays in that position for 20 years, and he's able to do this for.
I think. Can I just tell you what
Yeah.
I think is we had somebody on from that Hollywood documentary that one time where they were talking about what they do with the kids and they put them in the hot tub and then they get them naked and all that stuff. I just think it's I like girls and I'm in a position of power, so I start hiring young girls to work around here and then I hit on them, whatever, and it works. I'm banging young girls. You are like, I also like young girls, and I go, well, look, let's bring more young girls in here. Now me and you have got a whole line, and Gio's like, I like a young girl. That's what I think is more happening. So the guys in the Nickelodeon deal or Hollywood, whatever, they were like, I like banging dudes, and he's like, I like banging young dudes, and we got young dudes here. Then they bring in other guys around them that they know are going to keep it in that tight
Right.
circle. I don't think that's a ritual thing. I think that's just a bunch of creeps.
But think about what you're saying. You're describing a ritual. If they throw a party once a week where all these men or women get together and they take part in the same activity.
Yeah, but you're saying a ritual for like ritual to me means that by doing the activity and having it done every week, we're offering it up to somebody else,
Right, which
know?
Yeah.
I know that you don't want to believe that. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that. So like I said, take that religious part out of it.
Yeah, don't use the
Just-
word ritual.
Yeah,
because
that's
Right.
right. You're getting caught up in the word.
Right.
You're doing the same thing. You're just getting caught up in
And
the
you're
word.
sounds
still-
spiritual,
right?
which
and
it's
you're,
not.
But you're still conjuring up the worst line of vibrational energy you could do by raping, murdering, doing all this stuff. So it might not be a ritual to you, but the definition of what a ritual is basically that. You know what I
get
mean?
what you're saying. That's a weird.
Yeah, we live in a weird world now.
I'm just saying I don't.
I don't think it's now. I think we're
Yeah,
just
I
now
think you're
finding
right.
out about it.
I think you're right, Gio.
I'm so glad my kid never did any of that modeling or the stuff that we had talked about him doing. I don't want him being away. I don't want him being
You would
caught
have killed everybody.
But could you imagine if I would have just?
Oh.
I'd feel so irresponsible as a parent for. I thought I was doing something good, and next thing you know, I'm sending him off to go live with pedophiles.
Yeah, but you know what they do? They drug you. They have you do stuff, and then they have
Guarantee I won't.
if you're drugged,
I'm
how are you
taking
going
any drugs?
No.
Yeah, or
They
if
put it
you-
in your drink. You don't
or
have a
if you're a
choice.
bad enough parent, they pay you off.
Yeah, they pay you
Right.
off.
Like,
That's what's-
why were kids being brought to Never Never Land with Michael Jackson after the accusations?
Yeah.
Here's
you know?
$250 million generational wealth to just forget this
Yeah.
ever happened.
Oh, I might sell one of my.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of
They just
people
buy
would.
you out in the end.
Eh.